Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Puckn Pod. My name is Joe.
My name is Brandon.
And I'm Paul. Well, gentlemen, here we are. We got another episode. This is episode 2 of season 5, by the way. I should point that out. You're back. We got a lot to talk about amongst the rest of the world of sports. Last week, we talked all about hockey, our team specifically, and the Olympics. Let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff coming up here. We've got the Super Bowl. We know who's going to play in the Super Bowl in about, 2 weeks now?
Yeah, February 8th is the game.
And we're looking at a position where the Seattle Seahawks have a chance for redemption against the New England Patriots.
Without Tom Brady.
Without Tom Brady. So New England Patriots. And actually, there's a lot of speculation that New England kind of had it easy going into this. I don't know if you can elaborate on that, Paul, at all, but from what I've heard.
Yeah, I'd say, well, the two games that they played, they were like complete opposites. One was all offense filled against the Seahawks and the Rams, and then they got the Patriots and Broncos that I'm pretty sure half the fans out there were falling asleep during that game because it was
a 10-7.
Yeah, it was not much going on.
Yeah, field goal wins it. I agree. I think as a fan of sports, you want offense, you want scoring. When you've got two teams that kind of end up defending till the end, it's exciting for some people, but I think for the most of us, we're like, that was a bit of a snooze fest.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that game.
It was nice to see that New England took, 5 years off or so to let somebody else have a chance.
Yeah, really.
But, I'm not a super football guy anyway, to be honest with you. I think our listeners, if they pay attention, they'll know that. I'm the hockey baseball guy. I think, Joe, you're kind of our football guru, if anything. Paul, you watch a little bit, I think. But, I got lots of friends that are Seahawks fans. They go down. I think our buddy Frank had one time had season tickets to Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
He was going down every week. And that stadium is just gorgeous. And when you go down to watch the Jays in Seattle play at, I was going to say Safeco, but
T-Mobile, yeah.
You basically have to walk right by the football, and it's like you park there, you pay $40 or whatever it is around the football stadium, and then you have to walk around the football stadium. But you could take a cab from the parking lot to T-Mobile Park, and you're still probably walking away. It's like that football stadium is
huge. Yeah, it's huge, and it's renowned as one of the loudest stadiums in the league, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so that's why they play such a big part in the 12th man. What Seattle does. 12th man, of course, being the audience, being the crowd. It's definitely a tale of two teams, like you say. Seattle is sort of not overwhelmingly, but they're definitely one of the more expected teams to win over a team like New England. So this is where people will kind of root for the underdog, I think, in a lot of ways.
Oh, totally.
You can never underestimate any team going into a championship game. Everybody has a chance to win at that point. So Seattle's going to have to bring it. And I think really, in case for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about when I say they want redemption against New England, the last time Seattle was in the Super Bowl was against the New England Patriots. And their head coach at the time, Pete Carroll, had made a decision on a play that not a lot of people agreed with, and that was to run the ball on the 4th down, and they ended up losing possession and thus losing the Super Bowl. So it was a pretty big deal. I think this time they have a better chance to bring it, like I said, and they have a chance to win it all. So it'll be pretty exciting to see.
Yeah, ESPN right now has the probabilities as the Seahawks 60% winning the Super Bowl and the Patriots at around 40%.
Yeah.
Do you guys have an edge or a betting odd as to why Seattle is so favored?
Just they play a better offense and defense than New England does. New England was pretty good defensively this year. I just feel, and if anything, the last game they played against not Baltimore. Who was it? Who did they just play?
New England played Denver.
Denver, thank you.
Yeah.
With the game against Denver, being that it was a 10-7 final, you can tell it's a defense-heavy game.
Yeah.
I think that's really the big difference is that New England kind of favors or relies on their defense more than their offense, whereas Seattle kind of has two major weapons on offense and defense, right? So
it sounded like, with some of the research that I was doing, just a little bit to kind of have an idea, because I just don't follow football.
Yeah.
It just doesn't pique my interest. But Seattle set like an NFL record this year for a stat called DVOA, which is defensive adjusted value over average. So essentially, that is that Seattle was not only the best defensive team in the league this year. Since they started tracking the stat in 1978, they had the best statistics overall. Yeah, since that time. I mean, that's time.
I think that says a lot about obviously the players you have, but also the coaching you have, right? And the one thing I will say about kind of teams around the Vancouver area, not including, of course, the Vancouver Canucks, they have been a big surprise this year with. Yeah, and actually I should specify teams that we support, teams that we cheer for, because the Blue Jays are a perfect example of that as well. Teams that you don't expect to make it to the end have made it to the end. You know, you've got the Seahawks now. You had the Blue Jays. You had the Vancouver Whitecaps making the finals. So it's just these teams that you're supporting, teams that you're cheering for, have kind of come out of nowhere and surprised you. And I think a lot of it comes down to the personnel you have on the team. Seattle is no exception to that.
Well, you take a little bit from the past in regards to when like New England was such a powerhouse team with Tom Brady. You know, some of the fans that are NFL fans now were maybe 3 years old at the time when they were first winning championships. Yeah. Now they're getting to experience a whole new rivalry with different players, and you know, kind of the same history that the possibility that New England might come out of it. But
that's the best thing about it, right? Is that you're dealing with a possible dynasty, provided that they can keep doing what they're doing. It'll be nice to see what ends up happening after the Super Bowl is over. But it's really impressive to see a team like Seattle come out and, show what they got. And like I said, props to New England for making it to the finals as well. Again, being such a defense heavy team, for you to be able to come out of that game, a winner on a field goal, and, now you're playing for the Super Bowl. So yeah, it's a big deal. And, if you're a football fan, I'm sure everybody's planning their parties and stuff. Even I'm planning, my wife and I are going to sit down and have a bunch of snacks. Really, it's just an excuse to eat a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Good excuse.
Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the things and the nachos and stuff.
Nachos covered with queso, covered with salsa, covered with chocolate. I don't know, whatever you come up with.
All the worst things you could possibly. Yeah. But I said you've got a good excuse as you're watching. Exactly.
If I'm being honest with you, I think Americans probably need something positive going on for them. Still here. They're going to be their weekend or whatever it is.
Definitely.
Isn't that like a 3-week long experience for a lot of like serious football fans?
I mean, really it is. You wait. First of all, the games they just played were what? Thursday or no, what is it? Thursday today. So Monday or Sunday they played. We're not going to see football again for another 2 weeks.
Crazy.
So, it's a long break, but it's also needed because football, being as physical as it is, they need that time to sort of get better, heal those wounds that you might have received playing previously. The CFL is no different with the Grey Cup. They do the same thing. They take a week break and kind of prepare, right? But it's exciting. I think leading up to it, you're going to see a lot of media coverage for sure.
Oh, yeah, there totally is. Big betting weekend, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Big time, man. And then there's the sports, right? That's right. Yeah. And I mean, we all talk about the Super Bowl commercials. And I mean, I don't usually watch the game, but I'm not going to lie. I usually make an effort to like look up YouTube after on some of the commercials because they're always so good. They're really so
actually because there's ads we don't even see in Canada, right? There's stuff that don't air. So it is interesting to see the kind of ads you don't get to see too.
Not gonna lie, I'm kind of there's supposed to be a really good Avengers Doomsday ad during the Super Bowl, so I'm kind of looking forward to it.
There's a really funny meme actually when it comes to Avengers Doomsday. This is totally off topic, but where I guess there's a clip where like they were showing it at like Comic-Con or something like that. And it says Iron Man will return in Avengers Doomsday. And there's a shot of all these people just going nuts, right? I saw a clip where it said something like Superman will return in Avengers Doomsday and everyone's going nuts. And then it comes back and it says like, can't remember the character, but it's like totally not a Marvel character. Like
I was going to say Superman.
Exactly. It's the joke, right?
James Dutton will return.
Yeah. James Bond will return.
Just Avengers Doomsday.
Totally funny. RoboCop will return. There's some pretty funny stuff out there, and I like I say, I think that is part of the appeal, and I think the point of it really, Brandon, when you think about like the stuff aside from football, it gets people excited for something that they're not typically excited for.
Yeah, some like mean rabbit guy is doing the halftime show.
Bad Bunny.
Oh, good.
What are you talking?
Like, what are we doing here? Maybe I'm just oblivious and ignorant, but it's like, holy man. Well, apparently Green Day is going to be the opening act. Okay, I know who Green Day is.
Nice.
It's always controversial having Green Day do anything nationally because Billy Joel always swears on TV. I remember he did the NHL, I think it was the All-Star game or something like that, and he was singing whatever song, and he just blurted out the F word on the microphone all excited, like he does, right? But it was on live TV. It's so funny. They didn't have a chance to blurt it out.
What I will say, and he's a prime example of it, and just to be slightly off topic, is in these days, artists like him, especially old school guys, old school, there are a lot more old school guys and him still around, but he uses his platform to make statements.
Yes.
And I'm seeing that a lot more now than I think I ever have before. Award shows here, like people are just, their speeches are not about their award. It's about making a statement, whether it be political or economical or...
Most of the time right now it's political, obviously, with everything going on. But, it's kind of what to expect at this point. And I like it for the sake of the traditional audience of football watchers. You're going to get that message out and they're going to be upset about the message being played. It's like, just get on with the football. But there's going to be a lot of people who really want to see that message too. It's kind of a catch-22, really.
Well, and Bad Bunny's been making a name for himself over the years. Even like in movies, I saw him in Bullet Train, I think last year.
He was in Happy Gilmore too.
Yeah, and
he's really funny.
It's funny actually. So it's not surprising that they're gonna pick the guy that's trending kind of thing, and he is trending.
What was I gonna say? By looking at him and gathering, the only thing I know about Bad Bunny, he's a bit of a handsome man. That's about.
Oh, he's a good-looking dude. Good-looking dude.
That is all I got for you on a Bad Bunny or Mean Rabbit, whatever the hell.
He's a good-looking dude for sure. Any predictions for the Super Bowl? We talk about, there's a major consensus that Seattle's going to win this thing, but do you have any predictions as to maybe final score, or do you believe Seattle's going to win? Do you think maybe New England might pull it off?
I've actually always been a Patriots fan. Before the Patriots, I was a Rams fan when Kurt Warner was on the team, but I've been a Patriots fan for actually quite a long time, so I'm going to give them 26-21. I think that's the Seahawks.
Reasonable.
The betting line in max score is set at over-under at 46.
Wow.
Right now. The prediction I saw was 24-17 Seattle.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably playing claim to both teams' defense.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So it'll be curious to see.
I think it's reasonable to expect Seattle to outscore for sure. I think really for me, like the idea is that you're probably going to see something like 24-21, something like that. And for Seattle, and then New England's maybe, like you say, they might be lucky to get 17, maybe 14. But that's if I'm predicting Seattle to win. I have this sneaky suspicion, that's a tongue twister, sneaky suspicion that New England is going to put up more of an effort than we kind of expected coming into this game. It might even surprise Seattle. Maybe they'll play the run game a little bit more than Seattle's expecting. Just little things like that. So never underestimate the underdog. I want Seattle to win. I will preface this by saying that. I can't talk today. But I do think that New England is going to put up more of an effort than expected. I think we're probably going to see something like 17-14. It'll be a field goal that wins it.
Okay. I have a quick little trivia question to ask you guys. I was just kind of looking at the previous Super Bowl winners. Any idea or guess in the last, say, 30 years what the lowest combined score was in a game in the Super Bowl?
Lowest combined score in a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Was it recently?
Within the last 7 years.
Lowest combined score? Well, meaning like this plus this equals this, right?
Yeah.
Let's say 14.
You're very close.
Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
And that was the last time the New England Patriots were in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was against the LA Rams, and the score was 13-3.
And Rams won?
Nope.
Oh,
New England won in 2019. Yep.
2019. So Brady would have still been on the team at that point, right?
Hey, must have sucked then.
It might have been his last year before he moved on to, because I know he won the Super Bowl before he moved on to Tampa Bay, right? Because he was supposed to retire, and then I guess there was speculation he was going to retire. I think the idea was because New England wanted to move on, and so he decided he'd go play in Tampa Bay, won a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, and then retired, and then came back.
Yeah, so
Like,
New England,
make your mind up, bro.
from 2015 to 2019, New England was in 4 out of 5 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Like, was that before or after ball shrinkage?
No, I think the Deflategate was the same year they played Seattle, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's so. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty sure it was.
So that was 2015.
Ching.
Yeah.
New England versus Seattle. And then that was 2015. 2017 was New England, Atlanta.
Yeah.
2018 was Philadelphia, New England. And 2019 was New England, LA.
And was it 2014 that Seattle won the Super Bowl against Denver?
Yes, yeah.
43-8.
That was pretty exciting. That was exciting stuff. And yeah, you know, I think back to watching when they won the NFC Championship. Russell Wilson was talking to Bradshaw, Terry Bradshaw. He was talking to Terry Bradshaw in an interview, and he's like, do you have any advice? I could, you know, it wasn't part of the interview. It was like sort of off camera, but you could still hear what he was asking. And he's like, do you have any advice for me as to how I can win this thing? And then Bradshaw said, you know, just go give it your all, man. You know, basically, what else can you say, really? But, you know, put everything on the line. And he ended up winning the Super Bowl. That's 2 weeks later. So pretty exciting stuff.
Slightly off topic, real hot take, real quick. The Colorado Avalanche are terrible.
Yeah.
And whoever came up with the old Nordiques versus the
Montreal Canadiens.
Blanc et Rouge de Montreal, what a fantastic combo for Jersey.
Yeah. It's
We're watching Montreal play Colorado, by the way, if anybody's wondering.
it makes you really wish Quebec still had a team.
We still might get one at some point here. There's still talks of expanding to 36 teams over the next 10 years. So
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, you know, the PWHL, they just expanded with Vancouver and Seattle. They've announced that they're going to expand to 4 more teams next year.
Oh, wow.
So, crazy stuff.
great talent being spread out.
Yeah. We want to talk a little baseball.
I'd like to talk a lot of baseball.
Yeah.
But we can start with a little.
A little is sort of wordplay.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, let's Brendan Lillall, gentlemen. Who wants to start?
I'll start if you want. I'll make a couple of highlights of the Jays offseason, then we can go into some more detail, and you could probably chime in if you want, Paul, or Joe if you want. A couple of subtractions. Obviously, Mr. Bo Bichette not coming back. Signed with the Mets.
The Jays specifically.
To the Blue Jays. Sir Anthony Dominguez, and Bob.
I have no idea what that. All right.
Went to the White Sox. Players that are free agents that I don't think have signed yet: Chris Bassett, Ty France,
Framber Valdez.
IKF, Max Scherzer.
Yeah.
There was an article came out last week that Scherzer was thinking that, you know, he's not rushing it. He still wants to play.
Yeah.
But I mean, he might wait a month into the season. So
I heard a rumor that he wants to stay in Toronto too, and that Toronto wants him back.
I think he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, is there a spot? Because I don't think he wants
And
to pitch.
Bush Bassett too, right? It's like kind of the same idea. Like Bassett wants to stay in Toronto, and Toronto wants him back.
Bassett's in a spot, though, where he could go and get banked somewhere, probably. Scherzer, I think, is obviously the way tail end. But I don't think he wants to pitch out of the bullpen. So I think he thinks he's earned the right to, you know, do what he wants. Yeah. And ultimately, that may end up in retirement. But I mean, besides a few injuries that he battled at the beginning of the season, he pitched well for the most part. So, I mean, he's still pitching 95 miles an hour at 42 years old. So the guy's got something left in the tank. So I don't know. Yeah. Whoever's looking for a 5th or 6th starter, but it's not the Jays.
So before you move on to any other news with them, just out of curiosity, of all the players that have left, and I'm including Bichette here, obviously we're sad Bichette's gone. Is there anybody that you wish had decided to stay with Toronto at this point?
Bichette?
I mean, not really. I could care less if Bichette came back.
Yeah.
He didn't really tip the scales for me. He had a good bat, but that was about it.
Yeah.
I mean, a really good bat.
Yeah.
But I think the Jays are in a spot where it didn't really matter.
No, it's Okamoto signing, and really annoying with the whole Kyle Tucker situation and him signing with the Dodgers. The Dodgers are the worst team in baseball, in my opinion, even though they're not. But
that's a fan.
That's a fan frustration more than anything else. I think it opens up possibilities now with Bichette being gone, with Tucker not being on the market, like that whole pursuit. The Jays kind of get slapped in the face again. But you know what? They're a World Series team, so I don't think it's that much of a slap face this year as it had been in years past.
Yeah.
And there's lots of possibilities for them. There's rumors out there right now that they're interested in both O'Neill Cruz from the Pittsburgh Pirates, who's got some major star potential, as well as Ellie Dela Cruz out of the Reds, who could easily replace Bichette because he's third baseman, shortstop.
Still you 50 bases. And it would probably cost you about 3 of your top 10 prospects, but he's not wanting to sign an extension from what I've been reading about with the Reds. Now's the time to go after a guy like him and add to your infield and your defense. Man, I tell you though, I'm worried about the logjam in the infield.
Yeah.
I mean, the logjam everywhere for that matter, but who do you think's going to be their shortstop?
Probably Clement right now, I would think.
See, and Jimenez is better defensively, so he'll probably play short.
And I think
he'll got gold gloves from short, and Clement can play second because I believe
that is true.
Third.
Yeah, I think about like interchange.
Pitcher, to be honest. No, he's third baseman. Oh, natural third baseman, but he plays outfield.
And he can play first as well.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they do because they have Santander and Springer, who I think will probably have to go back and forth on DH, to be honest. Just based upon the injury that Santander had last year. He did not finish off well, and they didn't play him in the last two rounds. So
Nathan Lucas, Addison Barger, all like prime, coming into their prime, contributors to their World Series run. Like, how do you just snuff Lucas and send him down for DFA or two?
Well, and losing out on guys like Tucker and Bichette, it actually opens up room for guys like Joey Loperfido to have a more expansive role next year. So it's, they can make deals. They got the assets to do now. They're considered actually one of the top 10 of prospects in baseball now. They weren't like that for many years. So.
Yeah, as well as being a World Series
contender.
And honestly, like as somebody who doesn't follow baseball, I watched every game last playoffs, and there are players I fell in love with. Addison Barger is one of them. Yeah. I really liked the way he played the game.
Yeah,
defensively and offensively.
Yeah,
so
love the
rocket of an arm. Jeez,
exactly.
If you can get it from the wall and the outfield to, home plate on one throw, that's pretty freaking
very impressive. Yeah,
absolutely.
Amazing.
We can go over some of the key acquisitions still because we haven't done that. But one player I want to mention that I cannot believe hasn't signed a contract yet, Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
He hit 49 bombs last year and nobody signed him yet.
Nobody wants to pay him. What do you think?
Holy crap. Maybe.
Hasn't he always had weight issues? I think that might be the reason why.
Weight?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the weight goes to the end of the bat and hits the ball out of the dark, so I don't know. But I mean, yeah, you're probably right. I don't think he's obviously not in the best shape, but I mean, there are a lot of people in baseball these days that aren't in the best shape.
So is he a free agent or is he okay? So he's a free agent right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to sign somewhere at some point. You know it's going to happen.
Yeah. With obviously some teams missing out on certain players. Again, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to Boston or something like that. Or even the Orioles are looking to pick up players right now. So you see guys like Framber Valdez and Schwarber going to a place like the Orioles.
Yeah, well, I tell you, I'd forgotten that the Orioles had signed Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
Just seeing that here, I forgot about that. Yeah. Couple of key acquisitions for the Jays. Dylan Cease. We talked about him a little bit, I think, before our break. He's going to be good, I think. I hope. Yeah, supposed to be.
Basically, is he, what position does he play?
He's pitcher, starting pitcher.
Okay, pitcher.
Yeah, he led the league in strikeouts last year, I think.
Yeah.
Kazuma Okamoto, the Japanese free agent they signed, he's just raw power, this guy.
Nice.
Again, third baseman, but I mean, his career batting average is .277, which is well above league average in the MLB.
Yep.
Obviously, you don't know if it's going to translate, but, pardon. But,
right. Hopefully he's got a translator.
Hopefully. 717 career RBIs. He's 30 years old, 29 actually. 248 career home runs. 6-time All-Star. Like, they signed him for a reason, right? I was actually surprised on what his contract was, because I thought that he was going to get more money than that.
Yep.
And he ended up getting 15 million a year. 50.
For how long?
4 years. 4 years. So 60 million.
I mean, this is a situation where and it makes sense to me when I think about it. It's the situation where these guys were just in the World Series, and he's like, this is my chance to win a World Series.
Well, as an example, based on the stats that I'm seeing from him, is almost equivalent to what Bo Bichette's career stats are. And he signed for a fraction of the money that Bo did. So, he's unknown, right?
Yeah.
Maybe in 4 years, if he has a good 4 years with the Jays, his next contract's worth $50 million a year. He's, that time.
Yeah.
So, in a player like Bo Bichette, when he decides to leave, is his mentality... like in hockey, when a player wants to go to another team, it's because they think they're going to have a better chance of playing higher up in the lineup and getting more minutes, right? In a baseball player's sense, is he thinking, I'm going to get a chance to hit higher up in the lineup, and the big lineup? Like, is my role going to be different on another team? Is that the mindset, or what do you think? What is his kind of thought?
Well, Bichette's never had an issue being in the top of the lineup, right?
Yeah.
As it is. So, I think in the end, it's funny that the Jays kind of were slow with him because they were going after Tucker. The Mets were heavy into Tucker as well, right? And, LA came out of nowhere and offered ridiculous money for him. The money that the Mets basically were offering to Tucker, they're like, hey, do you want this Bichette? And the Jays were kind of slow and behind offering him anything. Like, I believe they were offering him, but they prioritized Tucker. And so just the whole shift happened where Mets missed out on Tucker, so they went after Bichette and left the Jays with making other decisions now.
Yeah. What I would say, in my opinion, to your question is that specifically Bo Bichette, he's a guy that I've said for a while now I don't think wanted to play in Canada.
Yeah.
And I believe he went where the money was. I think that's what I personally think about him. One of the reasons I say that is that in baseball, unlike hockey, in hockey, the type of player you are and the stats you put up is where you're going to be in the line.
Yeah.
In baseball, that's not necessarily the case. You could be a 35, 40 home run guy and you're still hitting eighth.
Yeah, sure.
So, that may not necessarily reflect their thought process in where they're going to be in the lineup if they want to hit up the lineup, because I think it really depends on the type of player you are.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're Connor McDavid, if you're Austin Matthews, you're on the top line. You're not going to be on the fourth line.
Yeah.
Whereas baseball, I truly believe these days a lot of the players go for money and a chance to win.
Yeah.
But I don't think necessarily where they are in the lineup factors in.
Yeah.
Because Vladdy, maybe he that's a bad example, but someone like him will probably say, yeah, pay me $40 million to DH. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't even have to step out on the field and play first base. I'll just swing the bat. And there's lots of players that are like that, and they produce.
100%.
And so, so I don't necessarily think that goes in. That's my take anyway.
No, that's fair. I think that makes a lot of sense when you consider the difference between baseball and hockey.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're probably right too. Like, maybe in his case, he's thinking, A, I don't want to play in Canada, or B, maybe I want to play closer to home or something like that, so that my family can come and see me play too, or something like that too.
It is surprising he chose the Mets, considering, they were supposed to be this big team last year and they didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They still obviously had the star power to be a great team, but, they lost out on Pete Alonso and filled it in with Bichette. Your trading power for, I guess, hitting. I don't know if that's exactly what the Mets needed last year. Soto's still one of the best players in the world. He's the highest paid player now.
Mm-hmm.
So
who's that? Sorry,
Juan Soto.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, I guess, getting that big contract's great, but, I think a winning culture is even better for your ability as a player and everything else, right? And getting bigger money in the future. But it's only a 3-year deal for Bichette and the Mets. So we'll kind of see how that goes. I like some of the other signings that the Blue Jays made. Tyler Rogers was a really, really good pickup, considering their bullpen was, I don't want to say it was a problem during the playoffs, but certainly it played its part in the end, unfortunately, with them losing that last game. So, I think Tyler Rogers, who's a fireballer and like a low ERA for the last 3 or 4 years, even 5 years, with the Giants, I think they're gonna get a really good value out of him.
Is it Chase Lee, the one that throws funny?
I believe so. Yeah, the side throw.
One player they signed, a pitcher they signed, that's what they call a submariner.
Submariner?
Yeah, and I can't remember what player that was. I think it's probably.
I think it is Chase Lee as well.
But what I will say in contrast to the Jays is that what I love about this offseason in the AL East specifically is that the Yankees worse.
Yeah.
They have a couple of notable acquisitions, and that's probably, in my opinion, Cody Bellinger and Ryan Yarbrough, who pitched for the Jays a little bit. Maybe not last year.
Wasn't last year's the year before.
Yeah. But I mean, they lost Jake Cousins, Paul Goldschmidt. I mean, Austin Slater, I don't think did much, but Paul Goldschmidt's a big name.
Yeah.
Gone, right?
Yeah.
And he's still a free agent too, by the looks of it. He hasn't been signed yet.
So I mean, based on all of that, we're looking at, a new season starting up very soon, like within
pitchers and catchers report in 3 weeks.
Yeah, the season starts in April. So you're looking at.
But spring training is in March.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I thought it was in February, but I guess mid-March makes sense.
No, like I say, I think pitchers and catchers report to their training facilities like middle of February.
Yeah,
and then I believe it's 2 or 3 weeks, and then the rest of your players report.
Yeah,
and then they do their workouts and physicals and medical checkups, things like that. And then I believe by the 2nd or 3rd week of March, they're spring training.
That makes sense because that is springtime. Yeah, it's spring training in winter.
Everywhere, any time of the year in Florida, is spring.
Yeah, totally. That's true. It's always spring. But look, there's a lot of changes that can still happen. I mean, the Blue Jays still have potential to sign other players, trade for other players, what have you. But one thing we can take into consideration too is the fact that players like Trey Savage can be that much better this season after that experience going to the World Series.
Yeah.
This is literally a rookie coming in and playing lights out.
The funny that pitching is not going to be an issue, I think, for the Blue Jays going forward based upon some of the depth that they've signed and so on.
Knock on wood, yeah.
You never know. That's whatever. But yeah, I don't think pitching is going to be a major concern. They probably caught about 7 guys that can be starters right on the team. So I don't think pitching is going to be a problem. Surprising certain players like Yariel Rodriguez. Not that he was fantastic, but he had a decent season last year. I was surprised to get him see him get outrighted, and he got signed to a big contract when he signed with the team. So they feel that they're replacing some of their depth with better players. So it is exciting to see what this will be.
And maybe there are rookies that are coming into this team this year that we don't even think about who might have some potential.
Yeah,
I think it's unlikely that you're going to see any surprises with how many good players the Jays have.
True.
In the case of Yesavage, it was
Savage.
I'm sorry, Paul. I'm sorry.
Yesavage.
The one thing I think about his particular skill set is that I'm slightly apprehensive about giving him full props because he came in last year late. Nobody had seen his stuff before. He throws hard. He's got that weird arm angle. His splitter's nasty. Having said that, what I will say is Kevin Gausman has made a career out of doing the same thing.
Sure.
So, maybe I'm wrong and I'm just a pessimist because nothing ever seems to work out for teams like your point.
Honestly, that's a fair thing to say when you consider, I think I always relate everything to hockey, but of course, like when you watch hockey, a rookie usually does really well especially a talented rookie usually does well his first year because nobody knows his
David Schneider.
Well, I in terms of hockey, I think of Elias Pettersson when he first came into the league. He was lighting it up and scoring goals, and people weren't able to hit him, and blah 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 blah. And then the next year, it's like it all dropped off because people start getting used to what his antics are and stuff like that, and his habits are, right? So I think maybe pitching is the same idea. You start doing, what's the word? You start doing research on the players and watching video, and you can kind of get used to what their habits are and kind of learn their pitches and what.
You get diamonds in the rough, right? You get guys that just have the stuff no matter what. If he can continue to adapt and mix things up, I think he'll be successful.
Yeah.
You think about a guy on the opposite end that the Jays had pitching for them a few years ago, Mark Burley. A long, long career. His fastball was 89 miles per hour.
Yeah.
That's a changeup or a slider for guys these days.
Yeah.
Right? So, but his entire career was about location.
Yeah.
Downside, all over the place, right?
You have to adapt. I think. Yeah. I think that's especially in that position, you have to adapt, right? You have to be able to make it work for how it works for you so you don't get injured and all that kind of stuff.
And I don't think it's a secret with Major League Baseball specifically. With young pitchers, it's always about command.
Yeah.
It's not about the stuff. It's not about the velocity. It's about command. If you can't put a ball in the strike zone, or if you can't put a ball in the corner, it's not going to matter if you throw 102.
Yeah.
Right. So if he can keep his command and keep that, he'll have a good career.
I think one quality that he has, considering what he just went through, the fact that he literally went to, Game 7 of the World Series, the fact that he could still throw strikeouts in the biggest stage, and not be thwarted by it.
Yeah, he wasn't phased at all.
Exactly. And I think that's one quality we can definitely look at and go, this guy has something,
Yeah, you have to hope that he'll be able to stay consistent. Again, you can look at a guy like, we're talking about, fireballers. Nate Pearson was considered one of the best prospects in baseball and did not turn out because he had no command.
Yeah.
From what I saw of Savage, during the playoffs, he looks like he had command and the velocity. So if whatever the pitching staff is able to do with him prior to the start of the season, I'm hoping that they'll be able to help him keep that consistency, as well as bring in some new tools, because other batters will get used to how he pitches based upon just watching any video,
especially within your division.
Yeah,
right. And the AL East is always tough division.
Yeah,
Yankees, Red Sox, Rays, Orioles, Holy.
Yeah. But if you've got the team, right?
That's right. And the Jays are the team right now. So, until they're not.
And other teams are going, this is one of the teams to beat this year. So that's pretty cool to say when it's your team.
And a lot of people spoke out about that in the offseason, saying, where did Toronto come from? Canada. That's right.
We the North.
Or Canadian.
So, gentlemen, I think now is as good a time as any, unless you've got something else you'd like to say about the Major League Baseball. Now's as good a time as any to talk about the rest of the teams in the NHL. We talked a lot about our teams last week. There's obviously still much trade speculation right now with the roster freeze just around the corner. Olympics are literally the women's hockey team starts playing in the Olympics next week. It's next week.
And the week after, I think, is men's hockey.
Men's hockey.
Yeah.
Wow. It's crazy. It's like right around the corner. From what I hear, the arena, by the way, update on the arena in Milan. Apparently, it's nearing completion. It's like just about done. They're just doing some finishing touches and whatnot. So we're going to be there. There will be hockey played in that arena.
It does sound like the men and women are playing in different arenas.
Oh, that, by the way, too.
No, I was reading an article today, or a headline that said that the women's hockey facility, ice is going in, logos are being painted, facility's looking great.
I read that too. It's the same building.
Maybe it is. Maybe I'm just out to lunch, but I clearly didn't dive deep enough into it.
But beyond that, regardless, the fact that Olympics is just around the corner, there's so much trade speculation in the NHL right now.
Yes.
Obviously, our teams are heavily involved, but we won't get into that today. Let's talk about the rest of the league, teams that are going to try to improve coming up. And there's a lot of teams that are doing it. We just saw New Jersey trade Andre Palat like yesterday or the day before.
Yep.
There's Minnesota is a perfect example. Now that they've got Quinn Hughes, they're all of a sudden a contender.
Yeah.
There's just so many different teams that I think we can talk about coming up here that are going to be contending for the Stanley Cup playoffs. Where would you guys like to start? Do you want to start in the East? Do you want to start in the West?
I'd say let's start in the West.
Okay. What's your biggest surprise in the West at the moment?
Colorado.
Yeah.
Just how bad they suck. Wait, just the lead they have, just in their division alone, is nuts. I'm going to switch this up here, but I know it's they are 9 points ahead of second place in their division, which is the Minnesota Wild.
Yep. And
they have 3 games in hand on the Minnesota Wild. Colorado lost tonight, but I just can't. That's a, what do you call it?
Conundrum?
No, just like an Easter egg, or just something that doesn't happen in the NHL anymore. That's the spread within your own division.
Yeah.
Like maybe between second and third, or third and fourth, fifth, or sixth, but not between first, second. Not really.
It is crazy. And I honestly think, though, when you consider Minnesota being where they're at, I don't think they're worried too much about being second in the division. For them, I think more than anything, though, longevity is important. They need to stay healthy. A lot of their players right now are hurt, and it's there's still some time, but you got to hope that these injuries aren't going to be a hindrance on your season.
Yeah. I'd say for me, for me, the Mammoth is probably the biggest surprise so far, that they're actually right in the playoff contention and hunt. Right there in, I believe the first wildcard spot right now as it is.
How much of what the Mammoth are going through, how much of that do you think is, I don't want to say luck, but how much of that do you think is sort of overachieving what they are expected to be?
I would have said so last year because they were kind of on an uptick. I think the management group changing the location, going out and getting a guy like JJ Peterka, he was having a bit of a slow bit there for a while until they played the Leafs and scored. I'd say like actually changing the culture and changing how much of a losing culture Arizona was compared to what Utah's brought for them. It's not that surprising this year as it was to me last year.
No, for sure. I could agree with that. I think the other part of it too is people kind of underestimate them as being spenders as well.
Yeah,
as like buying in the trade deadline. I think they're going to surprise people. They're right in the hunt. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you could be a surprise player for Artemi Panarin. You never know, right? He's available, right? He was the top.
Yeah, they're holding him out of the lineup right now.
Yeah,
like inevitably.
By the time this airs, he could be traded. We don't know.
That's right. Yeah,
that's true.
A big drop off in the entire. If you're looking at the spectrum, the entire Western Conference.
Yeah,
a big drop off from first to fourth. There's a spread of 16 points. Colorado at number one in 79 points. And Vegas Golden Knights in fourth with 63 points. Wow.
Yeah.
And then
Vancouver has like 10 less points than Vegas. They have like 53, I think, or 52 points.
No. They have 24 points less than Vegas.
Yeah, it's quite a bit, actually. You said Vancouver?
Yeah, what are they at?
Vegas has 63, Vancouver has 39.
Vegas is tops in the Pacific.
Yeah. Where am I hearing 53 from? Maybe that was from... Maybe that was projection.
53 is what Nashville has.
Maybe that was their projection for the end of the season.
Yeah, baby.
I hope not. I don't know where I read that. No, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me, bro. Would not surprise me. But we're not talking about our teams tonight. So, do you have any surprises in the East then? Who's your big surprise in the East for the season so far? Or let me rephrase the question. Who do you think is going to be the big spender in the East?
I wouldn't be surprised just because they're definitely in contention this year. It actually is the Red Wings.
That was my pick too.
Yeah, that they're definitely out there.
There's too much speculation about the Red Wings to Vancouver about players too. I agree, and there's been word that Yzerman has said our first round pick is in play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is it Matthew Darche for the Islanders? Darche is his last name for sure. He said the same thing. He's like, I have no problem. He says, I worked with Brisebois in Tampa Bay. He said, we have no problem trading our first round pick. So basically, open business.
Be that way, though.
Yeah.
If you want to contend for the Stanley Cup, you need to do whatever you possibly can do to get yourself over that.
Albeit good asset management, aka the Leafs for some of their trades last year.
That's who you're going after. Right?
Yeah.
You can't take gambles with your first overall.
No, you can't.
You need to know for a fact this player you're trading for is going to get you where you need to go.
Not that we have to talk too much about the Leafs, but please stop trading with Boston. Please.
Yes. It's funny you say that because I was about to allude slightly to Toronto as well, and it's because I have a positive thing to say about the Bruins.
Yeah.
Is that last year they were dreadful.
Yeah.
And they've done a retool in an offseason, trading away assets. They're now sixth in the East. They're right in there.
Yeah.
They're tied for fourth in the East.
Wow.
With Buffalo and Montreal. Actually, Montreal would have just pulled ahead.
I was going to point out, in terms of surprise in the East, Buffalo has been one of my biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So just to finish my point about the Bruins is that I think what the Bruins did last year, if a team like Toronto could do something similar.
A retool? Yeah.
Like just trade away a few assets to refill your cupboard a little bit and then organically let the organization fill up with a couple of free agents, a bit of a an overhaul of your roster, so to speak, let your AHL players, and maybe even next year's not great, but you're not going to be bad for 5 years. You may only be kind of bad-ish for a year and a half or so, So I think that's what the Bruins did in such a short period of time is pretty unreal.
Now, one can argue, and this is just me thinking out loud, one can argue that's a dangerous a game to play, because if you give up something, right, you give up something for something, there's always that chance of that something not working out, and then you end up in that retool for 5-6 years.
I do agree with that. However, the power of cap space in the league is huge, right? If you can sell off your assets, and they have some affordable assets like McMahon, Benoit, even OEL, who's having a really good year, that can get you decent returns.
Take that over for retaining.
Yeah. You open up not like maybe a gigantic amount of cap space, so you're opening up cap space that you can bring some of your young guys in. You can play them while you're kind of on your downward trend this year, get them the experience, see if they can make the team next year, but still actually fill in the team a bit with players that maybe fit the model of what you're looking for.
And that's the part that's dangerous.
Yeah.
The people you bring in, you're only going off of what your...
Well, they can't just be the players, right? It has to be your personnel too. I would not be surprised, again, not trying to go too much into talking about the Leafs or the Canucks, I won't be surprised if management and coaching is different by the start of next year.
Yeah. That's always a potential, I think, no matter what. Based on where you finish this year, I think that'll play a huge part.
Yeah.
For sure.
I haven't been paying much attention to this team, but I have a question to ask you guys as to maybe if you have any insight as to why this is, specifically the Washington Capitals. But I'm going to pair them with the New Jersey Devils and say, in the last 8 weeks, what the hell has happened? They've just gone in the southern direction.
To be fair, Washington lost against Vancouver. The one win Vancouver has in the last 15 games, I should point out. And that'll definitely bring a team down when losing to the 32nd team.
I mean, it's because Ovi was still at the casino. He forgot.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, it's surprise. On the opposite end of the spectrum, when we talk about surprises in the league, that's a huge surprise.
Yeah, weren't the Devils like 10-3-1 to start the year?
To be fair, I think the Devils are very injury riddled. Right?
They are, for sure.
I think that plays a huge part for sure. This Olympic break might play huge for a lot of
teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to put because of that, it's going to put a lot of teams in a very precarious position, because this is the time where you need to start making decisions. With the Olympic break coming up, right after the Olympic break is over, you've got no time before
there's like a pre-deadline and then deadline kind of thing.
Yeah. You're on a roster freeze. You have the Olympics, I believe. And then I think you play for 2 weeks, and then it's the trade deadline.
What's the Olympic roster freeze actually? What day is it?
That's a good question.
I want to say it's literally days away.
Yeah, it is.
Something like 2-3 days away. Maybe
maybe mid next week, February 4th.
For some reason, literally
February 4th.
Okay. I realized January 31st was sticking out of my head. Okay, so February 4th, they've got just a few days. Teams have just a few days to make a move.
February 22nd is when the freeze lifts. And the trade deadline is March 6th.
Yeah.
So that's 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Cool. No, it's not even that.
Not even 2.5. Not even.
Yeah, it's just under 3 weeks.
Yeah, because there's 28 days. That's 12 days.
Yeah.
Less than 2 weeks. Wow. Holy man. Yeah, that's crunch time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you have players that are injured and they get healthy-ish, you got some decisions, man. And then the crazy thing, and I think we are going to do a live trade deadline.
I think absolutely we should.
I hope we don't. Yeah,
we haven't talked about it yet, so we're just
yeah, maybe let's scratch that. We don't know yet. Hold on.
Yeah, no problem.
That is going to be an exciting trade deadline. I think not for our teams.
Well, it will be. It will be. I think my team specifically will be exciting for me because I want draft capital for my team.
Sure, I think we're at
a position rebuild. I think even retool. You want to be able to build up some draft capital, whether or not you use it as a draft pick or not. You want to build up draft capital so that in our case we can fill the cupboards and get players, right?
Yeah.
And this is going to be a good draft. This year is going to be a really good draft. There's going to be some really high end players. So it'll be exciting to see what happens. I think we definitely should look at doing a live stream if we haven't talked about it yet. We should.
we're hoping for both our teams to have a top 5 pick. You just because you want the first overall, but
It's almost guaranteed that's happening. But
us because if we get a top 5 pick, then we don't give up the first rounder to Boston. So.
So how about this for a messed up stat? The top 15 teams in the NHL right now, 10 are from the Eastern Conference.
Oh.
So
honestly, doesn't surprise me the way this season's going. It doesn't. It's very crazy the amount of teams on the West who are struggling right now.
the reason I mentioned that specifically in accordance to the trade deadline is the fact that divisionally, you have so many teams that are so close that everybody is going to want to improve. You've got 12 plus teams here that are going to want to improve and have a chance to get into the play.
And what makes that interesting is who is going to be the team that makes this blowout trade that you did not see coming, where it involves a huge blockbuster thing, like look at Minnesota making a trade for Quinn Hughes. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw Minnesota in there. And he's like, you know what? This is what they're asking for. I'm going to give them what they're asking for because I need to get better. And they got better immediately. So that should be a perfect example for teams out there to be like, you know what? If you want to get better, you better pony up.
Here's my prediction, and we can all make one if you want. We also don't have to. I agree with you. I think Detroit is going to be very, very active, but I think the biggest splash, Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, probably.
I would love it.
Probably.
I would love it.
7-2-1 in their last 10.
Yeah.
4 in a row they've won. They are sitting third in their division in the Atlantic.
I was watching a podcast, I think it was earlier today. They were talking about the Buffalo Sabres and obviously the turnaround. And they were saying that Kevin Adams, obviously since he's been fired, he was either a major genius for how he constructed the team, but also thank you that you're gone. We're better without you kind of thing. So,
I have a question to ask you guys too. The last time the Buffalo Sabres were in the playoffs, there is one active player in the NHL that played on the team the last time the Buffalo Sabres were in the playoffs. Does anybody have any idea who that is?
Brent Burns.
No.
Never played for Buffalo.
Never played for Buffalo.
Oh, played on Buffalo.
Yeah, played for Buffalo the last time they were in the playoffs.
A player that is currently playing in the NHL. Because it was that long ago.
They are.
No, I thought you meant
they're making one.
I know. I thought you meant in general.
Last time they were a playoff team?
Oh, Ryan O'Reilly. No?
Yeah, no, they weren't even in playoff team with him. Yeah, that's
He never made the playoffs with them.
Yeah.
Usually I can just
hang on. It wouldn't have been
what team is the player playing for now?
Eichel never played on the playoffs with it.
If I tell you that, you'll get it right away.
Okay.
It's Joe's hat.
Joe's hat?
He's on the Canucks? Oh, Tyler Myers.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
That's hilarious.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, crazy.
That's funny.
I mean,
he must have been a 80, right?
he was.
That was draft. I think he was a rookie because he's played in the NHL for 14 years, and it was 14 years ago that the Sabres were in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
He won Rookie of the Year that year. Did he? That year. His first year in the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about the possibility of trades and making teams better. I wouldn't mind seeing just kind of your guys' immediate thoughts of the top 5 players on the daily faceoff right now for their trade board. Where you think they might go? Don't you have to tell me what the trade package is? Just where the player might go. Artemi Panarin's the top one. He does have a no movement clause, so he has a bit of control.
I think he stays in the East.
Okay.
I don't think he goes to Buffalo though. I'll say Detroit.
Detroit.
I initially would have said LA because I think there was a rumor there already. But I think I'm going to say Anaheim. I still think he's going to be on the West, and I think he's going to be in California somewhere. Okay. And the Ducks, Sharks, and Kings all have an opportunity to get into the playoffs right now. Yeah. So I think it's going to be Anaheim first.
Can I just say something before you go on to the next player?
Yep.
If Evander Kane is in your list, I have a prediction for him.
He's not. So.
Okay, Evander Kane goes to the LA Kings. That's my prediction. He has a modified no trade clause.
Right.
I think he would like to go to a place like LA.
I thought I saw an article the other day that said they've got a trade in place. They just haven't announced it.
No. I think that's
hog swallow.
Yeah.
And I think the team that has the assets to really make the move for him is the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah.
And it's close to Manhattan. Yeah. No, for Panarin.
It's up the highway.
Yeah. He's not going fine.
The Islanders just made 2 big moves.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go for somebody like him.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't make sense.
Number 2 in that, I'm only doing the top 5. Dougie Hamilton, he has a 10-team no trade list. We don't know what that is, but just an idea what you think where he'd fit best.
Florida.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I don't think Florida's going to make a splash like
I don't think so either.
There was a rumor he could return to Boston, but I would say where he's probably most needed, Pittsburgh.
And my thoughts is that Boston would be a perfect fit for him based upon the cap room that they have too.
Yeah.
So, next player would be Braden Chen, 15-team no trade list.
He's too picky. He's not going anywhere.
Go to Winnipeg to play with his brother.
Yeah, this is his last year, right?
No, he's signed through 2027, 2028.
Yeah, he's gonna stay in St. Louis till his contract's up because no one's gonna want to take him.
Yeah, not perception.
You know, honestly, yeah, it could be. I could see a team obviously trading for him. It just depends on what's on his list. I'll say again. I'm betting most of these guys want to go out east because it's almost like you feel like you have a better shot, unless it's Minnesota, something like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Bold prediction: if they can manage the cap, I would say the Dallas Stars.
I would say, because I could see the Lightning do it because they always seem to find a way to make deals.
Yeah,
they would get both Shem brothers to play because Luke has already played for Tampa.
Yeah,
Yep.
So we only got about 3.5 minutes left. We'll get through the next
2 players. Ryan Hartman is on the trade board only because he's only got like a year left. But Ryan Hartman is on their next piece on that, even though he's on a contending team right now.
I don't think he goes.
Yeah, I don't know. If I were to pick, I would say he probably stays in the West, and maybe Colorado or Utah.
Yeah. Like I said, I can see Utah making a splash. I don't know what kind of splash, but
I could see Colorado wanting to add a bit of toughness to go along.
Yeah, I think the teams that are at the top are going to want to do something to improve their team's depth in general. So
yeah,
for sure.
Sleeper for me is San Jose Sharks, just Ian Tupper.
Yeah, I could see him going there for sure. You know, a little protection for San Jose kids there. That'd be good.
Well, they've got
days like super good, right?
They've got so many assets too that Minnesota could want.
Celebrini is just like taking it over by himself. Anyways, that's a whole other podcast.
And I'll put 2 of them together just because they're on the same team. Stamkos and Ryan O'Reilly is around number 5 and 6.
Oh man,
that's a tough one, man.
I could see
Stamkos has control of his trade though, right? He's got like a no trade clause or no move clause.
For Stamkos, yeah, he does have a no move clause.
So it's going to be whether or not he wants to go.
Yeah. I think Stamkos could go to Carolina, and I think that O'Reilly could go to Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh is going to do something.
Dubas does like him, so I would agree perfectly with that.
I can agree with that as well. Yeah, that's a fair one.
Yeah, I just figured that'd be a fun little bit.
I like that. I like those types of stuff.
It's always good. It's good. It's tough when it makes me think, and that's the problem.
Yeah,
I don't like that too much. Gentlemen, that is it. We are out of time. Crazy. Hopefully you guys enjoyed yourselves. I know I did. I always get time with these. It's nice to just shoot the breeze with you guys sometimes, even though it doesn't feel like it. We are really just shooting the breeze.
Yeah.
Talking about our opinions on things. If you guys want to reach out to us via our social media, we're available everywhere at the Puckn Pod. So reach out to us. Let us know how you feel about the show, or if you want us to talk about anything at all, let us know, and we will maybe even give you a shout out on the next episode. Once again, for the Puckn Pod, my name is Joe.
My name is Brandon.
I'm Paul.
We'll see you guys next time.